How many of you guys out there find yourself completely affected by your surroundings, by your space? Even my kids say they feel better when they clean their room. Feng Shui is an ancient principle, technique, energy, and again, this is not my area of expertise, but a huge area of interest. So, of course, I have brought to us an expert today, actually, you're Ms. Laura Carrillo, to share with us all about Feng Shui. And you guys know, you've seen me work with Jess Neary here, who is also a Feng Shui consultant, and she really helped me situate my house, my new house here. I'm so excited to be opening and connecting with more of these amazing space experts, because there is really a huge connection to what we're experiencing in our environment around us and how that affects our inner world. And not only is Ms. Laura Carrillo coming to us today, but she's going to be bringing a show right here to the Akashic Academy Network. So this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we're going to learn about how we can really make a lot of shifts by addressing our space. So Laura, we are so excited to have you here. Everybody, let's give Laura a big welcome with lots of hearts, lots of likes, lots of shares. Say hello. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about you, and I'm going to take a moment to share this out here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Emily. So my name is Laura Carrillo, and I'm the Feng Shui Lady. And basically my expertise is in Feng Shui and space clearing. I help people make the space for their blessings. So I've helped people make the space for love, a baby, greater success in life, more money, happiness, health, all those things, both from a physical and energetic perspective. And I am so excited to be bringing a show to the Akashic Academy, and everybody's been so great, so warm, so inviting. I feel like I'm at home. I'm all about the home. Creating sacred space is it's an inside job,
Of course it is. I love it.
But it's your external reality is a reflection of your internal reality. So I help people align their environment with their hopes and dreams and their highest good. And it's, Feng Shui is really a physical language. It's so beautiful. It's filled with metaphor and symbolism, and everybody thinks it's just like, placement, but there's so much more to it. There's the elements, there's yin and yang, there's, like I said, symbolism, metaphor, there's placement, there's aesthetic, there is chi or energy. There's so much more to it. It's this beautiful, rich language that once you become versed in it, you never look around at a space or environment, home, business, ever the same. You see how it's communicating something, and it's telling a story. It's telling, like, your home is telling your story, your business is telling your story, your television show is telling your story. Like, all these things are communicating out to the universe, your subconscious mind, nothing happens in a vacuum. Everything means something.
Well, it's such a great thing that you're bringing us an entire show every single week, because it sounds like we got a lot of aspects of this to learn and consider. How did you get started even in getting excited about this, and then how did you make it a career?
To be honest, I've always been a seeker. Ever since I was a really little girl, I was kind of a weird kid. I thought about life and death and so I was into astrology from an early age. I was into numerology from an early age, and I didn't come to discover Feng Shui until later, but I was really fascinated by it. And I read about it, I studied it, as a novice. And when I moved to LA, I had a really challenging environment, and it was like a very dramatic chapter in my life. And so because it was such a tricky environment, hi, Christy. Or is it Christy or Christy? It's Christy.
Christy Warnick, another one of our amazing shows.
Yes, I've seen her show. She's great. So I had a really challenging environment, and I stepped up and I decided I'm going to hire a Feng Shui consultant. So I can actually speak to Feng Shui from being both a client and now a practitioner. But I had such a powerful, life-changing experience with it, and I saw how my environment was communicating this major life change. And it, you know, it's so deep to go into. I wrote a whole story about it.
I was gonna say, tell us more. Tell us more. Laura's an awesome writer too, guys. Maybe if you would post that story in the link of the comment so that we can learn more.
I will, because it's a really long story. But I will just say I had a dramatic, powerful, catalyst style experience with Feng Shui and how what was going on in my life was happening in the environment. And I will say Feng Shui is a tool, you guys, to navigate how the, cards you are dealt with are playing out and how the energies in your environment are reflecting. It's not a way to skip your process, it's a way to navigate your process. And so I had a very interesting journey with it, and it changed my life, and I've never been the same. And I just and I eventually I went to the same school that my Feng Shui consultant went to. She became a mentor for me, and now she sends clients to me, so it's great.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, Terrence Lamont Bellows has an awesome question here, but first I just want to share really quickly. I know that you're super intuitive, but you seriously just picked up on some thoughts that were running through my mind, and you said the words out of your mouth. So what was cool was when Laura said, this is a tool. This is a tool that you can use. We were just talking about tools a few shows ago, and I was like, oh, tools like my cards. And as soon as I said that in my mind, you were like, it helps you process the cards that you were dealt. And so I just wanted to share that little
I didn't even see that.
of my own energy moment there, because then I lit up and I'm like, oh damn, she's so intuitive and telepathic. She just took that word out of my head. So that was a fun little side note. Back to Terrence's question, because there are different systems of feng shui. Feng shui. First of all, make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly, please.
To be honest, people get really particular, like, is it Feng Shui or Feng Shui? It is Feng Shui, but I often, honestly, catch myself saying Feng Shui all the time.
Okay, cool.
It's fine, as long as you don't do, my mom says Feng Shui, or Feng Shui. So as long as you don't do that, I am not going to call you out.
Love you, Mama.
Yeah, but...
All right, so yes, what system in particular do you use?
So, Terrence, to answer your question, there's a number of schools. I practice Form School. It's the original school of Feng Shui. There are numerous schools, but the school that I practice is the most organic and the least dogmatic school of Feng Shui. It is a non-directional approach. I treat each environment as its own universe, and I apply the Bagua based on the entrance of the space as a whole and each individual room. So as soon as you enter an environment, it becomes its own universe. And each individual room is its own little universe as well. And there's paradox in Feng Shui, because whatever is happening, whatever the story is of the place as a whole, there are ways to compensate for areas of the story that might be missing in other rooms. Like, for instance, a lot of times people will be missing guas. I don't know if this might be too advanced. Like, there's something called a bagua in Feng Shui, and it's this energetic map that addresses all of these themes in your life. So every theme in your life is represented somewhere in your home. So your love life is represented in some area of your home. But if that area of your home is missing, let's say you have like an L-shaped space, then there are cures for that, but it is part of your narrative while living in that space. It does. Here's the thing with Feng Shui. People are like, oh, well, can you fix this? I'm like, I can manage it. I can have cures for it, but some things are part of your story while you live there. And what you want to do is then manage that energy so that you get to the next logical chapter. But to answer his question, it is Form School. It's the first school of Feng Shui, and it's a non-directional practice.
I love that you talked about how some of the things are just your lessons while you're in that space.
Yes, yes.
Because spaces, locations, houses, all of these things, these entities, these bodies have Akashic records as well. And a lot of times I'll work with people when they're getting ready to buy a new home and talk to them about the lessons that house is going to be bringing forward, so they can really see if that is in alignment with what they want in their life.
Yes, what I do, because sometimes people want you to be like, oh, okay, can you make this place perfect? I'm like, no, we can make it better, but there's a reason you're in that space. So like when I moved to LA, I moved to a space that was missing a career gua, because I was on the wrong career path, and the universe wanted me, to go back to how I became, the universe wanted me to take out of that and have me look at other areas of my life and develop those other areas and find out who I really was outside of my career. And then it changed my career. So that's why that chapter was so powerful. I needed to live there. I needed to be taken out of that career. Was that challenging? Yes. Was it jarring? Yes. So, you know, when change happens and you're inviting change into your life, you don't know what that change is going to look like, and you shouldn't necessarily interpret it as bad. So I had this Feng Shui consultation, and she had me move my home office, which was in my love gua, which is bad, by the way, you guys. You do not want your home office in your love gua. But anyway, and she's like, because it becomes your primary relationship, right? Yeah. So my relationship was with my job, and as soon as I moved my office, like she told me to, my primary relationship was severed. It was so symbolic of what was happening in this space, but it needed to be. And to be honest, I was fully taken care of it, a full severance. Somehow magically, like, that was fine because that space was not about that. It was about other things. So.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. Great question from Deborah. Deborah says, I'm missing the relationship section of my home. I just buried a few crystals outside to energetically connect the missing walls.
Good.
Does this sound about right?
Okay, so there's ways. I was talking about paradox in Feng Shui, so there's ways to help compensate that besides what you're doing. So you're trying to anchor. You want to, with the crystals, hopefully you tried to square it off where the home would have completed if you had the love gua. And if you have control over that area, if it's like in your yard, that's even better because you could put flowers out there. You could put, you could put a statue, like a love statue or a love, something symbolic. A pairing of chairs with a table and flowers, create sacred space that is romantic out there. But some other ways are to then, in each individual room in the home, there's going to be a love gua in each of those individual rooms. So then you can honor that area in each of those rooms to help compensate for the missing gua. And there's lots of other things that I do to help people with that. It like helps to see the space, but you can definitely help compensate for that. But I will tell you, there's got to be some reason why you're in a space that's missing that. And we would have to talk more, but it's something to look at. It's part of your story right now.
I love that Nancy says tomato plants for love or roses planted. Here's where symbolism is going to come in again too, right?
But you know what? But both things would be great. I think roses are a little bit more romantic. Plus the fragrance of roses. Yes. Rose scent is the scent. When you're looking at essential oils, it's the scent of love, of self-love, pure love. So I would say roses.
Yeah, and if you might be somebody who has an aversion to roses, maybe you've got some belief system about something nasty happened to you about roses, go with the tomatoes and then start telling yourself the symbolic story of the tomato, right? I grew up in Missouri where tomatoes fresh from your garden might as well be you seeing God having yourself a little. I've said too many dirty words already on the air today, so I'm not going to say orgasm, but that's where I was going. You can also think of like that luscious juiciness of the tomato. You can think about how one tomato seed created a plant with all these tomatoes with so many millions more seeds. So you can look at that as a symbolism of abundance of this love coming in. It's really important that you start interacting and telling the story though, right?
Exactly. And there is no one-size-fits-all solution. Like, for instance, in Feng Shui, different colors represent different elements and are suggested for certain areas of the home. But sometimes people hate certain palettes. Like, they don't like reds and fire colors, but maybe they need fire element in their home. So then I would suggest there's symbols that represent fire, like spiky symbols or stars or, actual pictures of fire, things like that. So there's always some option that is going to fit with your aesthetic and your narrative, like what speaks to you, because some people might not like roses, there's always an alternative.
So you guys can see that Laura is a wealth of information. We're going to have a lot of places to go, a lot of things to learn over the course of hanging out with her. Your show is going to premiere in August, right? On Friday. So let's plug your show. And then let's talk about, since everyone's kind of getting an introduction here, let's talk about like one of the best places for us to begin and actually start bringing some more awareness and understanding today.
Okay. So as Emily was saying, I am launching the show in August. It's going to be called creating sacred space with the Feng Shui Lady. It's going to be Feng Shui Fridays at 5. It's like, the 5th day of the week at 5 o'clock, Feng Shui, So, and I'm going to, I'm going to have Feng Shui tips. I'm going to have guests, and I'm going to have demonstrations. So I'm really excited. I have a lot in store for you guys. I've been really thinking very, very much about this and strategizing and planning, and I'm excited to share it with you. And then as far as like where to begin, well, you guys, I believe in creating a clean slate. And right now we're in eclipse season. I know a lot of people are feeling these intense energies. In Feng Shui, cleanliness is close to godliness. So if you don't know anything else about Feng Shui, you guys start by just organizing, cleaning, releasing. Eclipses are about eclipsing things out. So if you can clear the clutter in your space, and maybe you pick, like I've just recently redone my home office because I knew that I wanted to create a new narrative for myself, and I needed to, if you want to change your story, you need to change your story. And so in order to do that, I needed to create a new story there. And so in order to do that, you guys want to start by cleaning and organizing a specific area in your home that where you find challenging or that's really important, like your home office or maybe it's your bedroom. Just start organizing, cleaning, getting rid of things that don't work, that aren't attractive, are uncomfortable, are toxic. Like I just got rid of my microwave. I was like, why do I even have this? I don't use it. It destroys all the nutritional value in food. It emits, yucky stuff. And
which is the technical term for it, of course.
Yes, yucky stuff. But you know what I'm saying? So just get rid of things that are no longer serving you, that are just taking up dead space, because what happens is the universe abhors a vacuum. And when you get rid of those things that you don't need, want, love, or use, it makes space for your blessings.
It does. And that stuff, guys, it holds the energy of your old story.
Yes.
You don't need it. You want to make sure that you move that stuff out. Nancy says, oh, I love her. I do too, Nancy. I really, really love me some Laura. I'm so happy that you're coming to hang out here. Let's talk a little bit more about this idea of space clearing. I read that, what was that super trendy book? Tidy Up Your Space.
The Japanese lady.
Yes. That's the one. Of course, again, that's the technical name for it. You guys know what we're talking about. The life-changing
magic of
tidying up. Something like that, right?
It's one of the books that I recommend for my clients. That is a great starting point. Before you guys even call me up, create a clean slate. That book, the thing I love about it is that some people just don't even know where to get started. And what she does in that book, and I'll get the name of it for you guys. I didn't know Emily was going to ask me about that book, but I can share that name of it. And Emily's going to share a link to reach out to me as well. But she gives you a complete strategy on where to begin and how to do that, and an editing process. I think people who are a little bit overwhelmed need a strategy, and she gives you that. So, and she starts, a really great place to start is your closet.
Yep.
I spend a lot of time editing my closet, like all the time.
I can so tell you're a writer because you use words like editing in your normal everyday language.
I can't help it.
Closet, that is rad. I love it. But she does. She gives you a really great a platform for people who have a hard time throwing things away. This is the biggest takeaway from that book. Obviously, it wasn't the title, was the biggest thing I took away. It was
a long title.
It was a long title.
She could have summarized things a little better.
She said, if it's not bringing you joy, it's got to go. Because I'll be like, oh, am I going to use it? And I'm asking myself a million questions about this thing, but except for, does this bring me joy? And then that clarified it really quickly for me. And I really got rid of 75% of my clothes after that.
Right. I mean, and you guys are always talking about, is it high vibrational food? Is it high vibrational clothes? Food, furniture. If you don't love it, if it doesn't make your life better in some way, get rid of it. When I go shopping, my thing is change my life.
Nice.
Looking at clothes, I'm like, is this going to change my life? And if it's not, I don't buy it.
I love that. That's some good stuff right there. All right, you guys, if you have any questions for Laura, we have a few more minutes before we're going to wrap up and hand the reins over to Cutie Patootie Jack Coleman, who's going to come for Life Hackers right here on the network. So if you guys have questions, now is a great time to type in those questions. And Laura, while they're typing in some questions, I am going to post the link where they can come find you. But if you could just give everybody a quick breakdown of what kind of services you offer, and then you guys can use the link to come find her.
Okay, you guys. So as I mentioned, I do Feng Shui and I do space clearing. So Feng Shui is more the physical component, though there's obviously a lot of energetic aspects to it, and the space clearing is the energetic component. I personally like to Feng Shui first to make the space for your blessings, and then do space clearings and invite those blessings in once you have physically made the space for it, shown the universe that you mean business. And I have lots of offerings. Like I have a free newsletter. I have tips on there. Obviously I'm going to start the show and I'm going to have like actionable tips. I'm going to have great guests. I'm going to have, demonstrations and things that you can do to improve your life and raise your vibration. And because this is eclipse season, I really want to help you guys create a soft place to land and recharge, but even more importantly, a place to manifest and align your environment with your highest good, with your hopes and dreams. There is a way to do that, and it's really powerful. So Emily's going to share, the link to reach out to me. You can reach out even just for a free phone call. I have an option for 15-minute phone calls where we can talk about your space, what your goals are, and which service might be good for you. And then obviously on there's all of my services. You can sign up for my free newsletter. I have all of the links to, my YouTube channel, everything on there. But we can start with a quick chat and then take it from there.
Sounds good. All right. So Dottie says, what do you do if you got clutter, but it's organized clutter and it gets admired, like crystals taking up all the space on your dresser? Because I feel that too. There are some people like me out there who love their little crystals, their special things, but they do tend to form a big old pile. And I'm like, oh man, I need to dust this off, but this is going to take some time.
You guys, that's a really good question. And I have a great suggestion. Okay. So when it gets kind of overwhelming and you have a lot of stuff, but it's all great stuff, what I like to do is to curate and periodically. So I have a lot of crystals too. I'm really into them. And I like to create vignettes. So you want to give each crystal or each beautiful, statue or, whatever it is that you want to show off, you want to let it have its day in the sun. So what you do is you curate specific vignettes periodically with those crystals and have the others resting, set aside.
Or charging, right?
Out and create new vignettes seasonally or as your mood changes for the full moon. Like I'm always doing that, and it's a really great thing because then you're like, oh, now I'm going to bring out this arrangement of crystals, and you can create little like sacred geometry and all that cool stuff.
That might have been the best. Oh, I'm sorry, I turned it down, but Dallas was really excited. He said another great show. That might have been one of the best tips I've ever heard. Makes me so excited to just continue this process of learning and growing with you. I have an area to create a sacred space, been trying to envision and create. Glad to have the connection. Thank you. Yes, Vanna, please keep hanging out right here at the Akashic Academy. Make sure you friend up Laura because she can definitely help give you some direction and advice. And of course, you guys see why I'm so excited to launch this show in August, because it's fun and exciting. You are a wealth of knowledge, my friend. I'm so excited for the collaboration. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. It's been an amazing day here at the Academy. We still got Jack Coleman coming up. So I want to invite you to stay tuned. And of course, if you are excited about diving in and having a support team to learn more about growing and expanding and stepping into what your gift is, okay? Maybe you're not a Feng Shui master. Maybe you're not a yoga master. Maybe you're not a Reiki master. Maybe you are an aromatherapy expert and you don't know it yet. Maybe you are an Akashic record expert and you don't know it yet. There is some reason why you are here, why you're showing up in this space. And one of the underlying foundations of the Akashic Academy is to create this space for us to step into our power and into sharing our message in a bigger way. Laura is a beautiful example of that. And by association with all of these amazing hosts that we have who are stepping into their power, you can do it too. Please reach out and connect with me if you want support for that process. Laura's got you covered if you need to rearrange some things and get your house under control. Thank you so much, sister, for hanging out here with me. We're excited to talk to you guys more, we're excited for you. Whatever. You guys know I've been on the air for a long time today. Stay tuned for Jack, and again, thank you. Super excited.
Yay. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.